back here on the 37. Took me some doing to cut this. It has had plates in here. I managed to cut it off with a plasma cutter, and I got it down to a plate here. These are just real thin. I don't know what they were. 1/8" plates. This one's welded pretty good in the back, and I had another one across the top, so I cut this off to the inside of the frame, pounded it down good with a hammer, and I just laid a bead right in here. Not too bad. This Lincoln arc welder works really good. Now I've got some thicker plate. This is like 1/4 inch. It was in, I don't know, somewhere like that. But I'm going to cut me a plate that'll fit this hole. And I'm going to weld it on top of this one. I should be able to weld it across here good, into the frame here, and of course on this side. So that'll give me a flat place all the way across here to put my steering gear in. And once I get it down good, then I'll clamp it before I weld it so it doesn't flip it up. And I can jack this up and get under it and run another bead across the bottom there, or across the back this way. So that should get my an 1/8" plate and a 1/4 inch plate. That'll give me a 3/8" plate across there, and I think that'll make it strong enough. This way, it was just so bad before and badly welded. I just couldn't leave it like that, so I cut it out. And by the way, that little plasma cutter, I never used one before, but with a little practice with it, you can cut pretty good. I cut a little crooked there, but it was good enough to weld this up good and solid. And compared to what it would take with a cutoff tool, it's 20 times as fast, and we're not using up any material like the cutoff wheels. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do, is make me a plate here that'll fit in this gap, and get it kind of trimmed up in the way I want it. Chamfer one edge so I can weld into it on the back, and weld this plate in and get this frame a little straight. Then I can move on trying to figure out some kind of a bracket for the steering gear. Well, I've got that 1/4 inch plate welded in. I got a few holes in it that I need to fill up. I need to fill this area up, and a couple right in there. I can make a nice smooth weld out of this. Bring this out flush so I can grind it off. But that plate is welded in super good and solid. So we got a 1/4 inch plate, or an 1/8" plate, and a 1/4 inch plate. So we've got a 3/8" steel bar in there, basically. It's works really good. This Lincoln Electric Weld Pack 100. It's using wire feed, and it's really working much better. Much better than that Harbor Freight thing. And my little Amico over there, it'll fry rod really good. So I think And also, you know, with the gas, I can weld real thin sheet metal. So I think between these two welders here, I got enough welder to make about anything. The guy that I got a kind of a big Sears Colormatic from, he turned out to be a real jerk. Took it back. He just wanted a lot of work for free is what it was. But anyway, this welder here will sure solve all my problems. It's welding 1/4 inch plate with no trouble at all. So, happy about that. Speak of the devil, here comes the owner. There's a steering box back in it again. Sitting roughly where we're at. And that's where it's going to go as far as vertical and horizontal. And I'll have to fool around with this and make that work and make a bracket for that. Well, there's that. These are Simpson strong ties. They're 1/4 inch steel. They're awfully strong. Anyway, I got this bolt here as close as I could and welded a grade 8 nut behind it. I welded this in, cut a little notch in it right here, welded that into the frame. This has been welded on the inside. I'll do a little something right in here. That's plenty strong. It's 1/4 inch plate, so I'll build up something in this corner. I need to weld it here on the outside of this. And I have to grind that off flush. This steering box pretty flush. Looks like it's got a little bit of a hole in it there. You know, that might be. It's going the wrong way though. I think the hole's going this way. Yeah, long ways. So I'll grind this off flush. I had chamfered it at a 45, so it should be plenty strong enough. And I got a good weld. Again, I'm really pleased with this welder. You know, I'm not much of a welder. Well, I'm alright. Pretty good, I guess. But, you know, that's a really nice looking bead there. Yeah, the rest of it's kind of glarpy, but don't care. But the welder itself, you know, it's doing real good. So anyway, now I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to try to punch holes in this for my bolts with the plasma cutter. And how much success I'm going to have on that. I got plenty of weld on this. That other bracket that was on here before, you could bend it by your hand. Well, this one's flexing a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as this other one. I'll put some kind of a plate or something back there in it to stiffen that whole thing up. And probably trim these at some kind of nice angle here so they don't look too bad. But I think that's plenty good for now. I'm gonna grind that off flush, see if I can burn some holes in it and get the steering box mounted to that. And I'll call that good for the day. Here's our results. Because this I put a, half an inch or so inside the frame here. The bracket, you can see there's a little crooked, but that's all right. I'd rather have it on top of the frame than down here. At least we got this back and forth business gone, and it don't really make any difference if that's in there a little crooked. But that's all bolted in. I was able to punch holes in it with plasma cutter. These little bolts I got are just really not long enough to go in there. Almost. I've still got a little gap right here. I need to grind this down. But basically, that's in and straight. The fitment arm's on it. It's a little higher than I would like, but there's nothing we can do about that unless we want to cut that frame some more, and I don't want to do that. If I have to, I'll just raise this arm up 3/4 of an inch or something to get it where it's a straight shot. As long as we don't hit our headlight, we're fine. And it's straight. The steering's right. Just thought it's upside down, I'll be in problem. Yep. So it's pulling it back, which means turn to the right. So that's all good. This is in, good and solid and straight. We're a long ways away from getting this hooked up. But I was just thinking, I could just cut this pipe off of here and make a curve back in. Miss that. That's a minor problem, moving the header around. But it's plenty strong. It's not wiggling at all. It's not even really bolted in. It's only got 3 bolts half tight. So looks like we've got another good deal here. Took all day, but it's really solid, and it's just welded in a couple places on the frame. Time I brace it inside there, and I can cut all the rest of this off of here and trim it up and make it look a little better. But that's a 1/4 inch steel. That would be an 8-inch steel channel almost. There's 4 inches, then I put another 3 on it. That's about 7 inches. I got a ruler here. Okay, read this. My rusty old square. And 7 inches right there, so I got a 6-inch piece of channel in there. That definitely is going to stop it. When it presses down, it's straight into the frame. There's no way it's going to bend that. And it goes the other way. This is welded in the frame and welded down here in the front. So that's not going anywhere. And there might be a little twist up and down this way, but once I brace that, it'll be okay. Our belts are pretty close over here. Again, we don't really care about that too much. I could always change the length of the belt and push that in and get it further away from that or raise it up. But as it is, it's in good and solid, not moving anywhere, not flexing at all. Like I said, I only got a couple bolts in it. Yeah, that's, I'm not even being able to move it at all. There's a little bit where I'm twisting the frame, but you know, I got a 2-foot pry on it here, so I'm sure that that's going to be plenty straight, plenty strong. It's almost straight here. I sacrificed a little turning it forward in order to bring this angle back just a little. So it's not perfectly straight, but it was done that way on purpose, and I can still move this around by opening up the bolts. That bolt in the back, it's got a nut welded on it. This one, I could weld a nut on it, but I think once I do that, then it's in place. It won't move around at all. But I think I'll just use a bolt and a washer in it, so that'll give me that one pivot point. And if I have to, if this is not aligned, I can get it perfectly straight across the center line of the car. I got maybe 3 degrees on it now. It's kind of hard to tell because the frame's going in and this is going in more, but I think it's going to be steerable. So it was quite a task getting that in, but it's in and solid, and now I just have to brace it up and finish the rest of the job. I got my bracket welded in there and braced and polished up. I polished this right in the middle here because the steering and fitment arm business there is a steering box is flat, so this will be flat. I can go ahead and assemble this with my grade 8 bolts now and should be good to go. Well, moving on a little bit, the door here was pretty well messed up, so I drilled out 2 of those bolts, and I put a lag bolt in there and kind of made them into a screw, and that stiffened that up a little bit, but the hinge was setting way too far back. So what I did, I used a quarter power in here, jacked that hinge forward, and just TIG welded it here to the, or MIG welded it to the skin, so it's a lot more stable than it was. And we took all the guts out of the door. I'll show you that in a minute. So now I'm going to hang the door back on it and see what it looks like here for a hinge. Well, I welded that onto the sheet metal, and then it wouldn't open up all the way, so I had to grind that down a little so the hinge would clear. And then it was hitting right in here where the door was, and I got it where it would close good, and I kind of put the latch in it there, and it closes real good now. And it's got a door handle on it, but it opens good, closes good and solid, pretty straight, not as straight as it was before anyway. So there's the hinge, that's all fixed, and it's working good enough. It wouldn't open at all before. Plenty solid. And now turned out the door handle. You can see it laying there, but it was about half an inch short. It just wasn't going into the square hole. So, and this one here is a little lock. It's also got a square hole in it. Probably turns with a key. It's a good chance we can get that fixed. But so now we just have to fix that door handle there, and they put it in with some funky sheet metal screws. And I'm just going to cut it off and extend that little square bar half an inch. The owner was trying to get the window to work. I guess he wanted to make a template out of the other one. Anyway, I'm not really worried about windows and stuff. I like to get doors opening and closing and shutting and not popping open when you're driving. So it looks like we've got a good deal on this one. It's opening and closing. The other one's not too good. It opens and closes all right, but I can tell it's just barely hanging on there. So I need to fix that a little better so it'll close real good and tight. Probably something to do with the hinges again. But these things, you know, they're not real sturdy, and when they start twisting, see, you can just barely move that one. And I can see by how much it's on this here, it's just barely hooking. And it should be able to, yeah, see, this is only sticking out like 1/8 of an inch, and it should come back about 3/4. So it's probably right in this area here. Just probably straighten it out, lubricate it, maybe open up that hole just a little bit. And that'll be it for the doors. Found a can of spray paint. Just hit my bracket there. It's gloss, but don't care. I got it over my welded part. I'm going to always spray flat black over it. Here's the piece of plexiglass the guy had. I got another pretty big piece, quite a bit thicker than that. I don't know what kind of regulators we got. Looked like this. He took one regulator out of here, and it might work. Looks like it should. Don't know. We'll find out. I mean, I think if I was going to put a window there rolled up, I'd put the driver's window in and then just make this one fixed. Maybe we got a regulator in this door. Maybe we don't. Looks like there's something here. Yep, I see something moving around. So we'll get roll-up windows in it. I've got some window channels here. These are kind of pricey, but they were for the AMX. But I think we could, yeah, those will go down in there, and probably probably get some kind of window channel for it. And get some of the money back out of my parts.